yards of prints that everybody had already seen and nobody wanted to see them again. So I pleated them all up. And, I actually invented this 2-piece outfit and put it with a chunky little sweater. And we chewed up all the fabric. We used every bit of it.
I love it. When
I mean, that's one thing that gets everybody in trouble. And, sometimes I'm walking over to Mood Fabrics and they have all this inventory and they put the designer's name on it. So there's all this inventory of other designers. And I think, a lot of times they're buying very expensive fabric. So I don't know, that's one thing that it just comes off of your bottom line is, buying too much fabric.
What about, you've worked with so many colors. Like, do you have a favorite color that you like working with or designing in?
Well, I mean, I tend to like greens and blues. And I like a blue that's on the purple spectrum that veers more towards like a purpley shade. And I'm always fighting people about what's blue and what's green, and people go, oh, the green dress. I go, no, that's the blue dress. Or they'll call it the purple dress. I call it the blue dress. So I don't think people all see colors the same way. And of course, I love black. I'm always wearing black.
I was going to say, you're also known for using a lot of blacks as well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you, that's one thing you're never stuck with. The black fabric's always gone and you're sitting there with the weird colors.
You could always find a use for the black, right?
Yeah. Black always gets used up.
What about, there's so many celebrities like you've worked with and that like love wearing, Nicole Miller, like Beyonce, like Tyra, Miley Cyrus is a lover of yours. Talk about the relationship between like designer and celebrity.
Well, it's always different because a lot of celebrities have come up here and I've worked with them firsthand. And then a lot of times we've sent things, since I'm not in LA, I'm in New York, we've sent things to LA. And then I never even get to meet the person or work with them. And, one time somebody came to my office and they said, oh, Angelina Jolie's wearing your dress on the cover of People magazine. And I go, well, I don't think so, because I don't think Angelina Jolie has my dress. And they said, no, it's your dress. And that was when she was and Brad Pitt were Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they were there for the premiere, and she wore my dress. But our celebrity dresser in LA had sent it to a stylist with a bunch of other things, and nobody knew she was going to wear the dress till she wore it, and then it was on the cover, very tabloid, because everybody was wondering if they were having a thing or not. But then I did meet her afterwards. I didn't meet her when she wore the dress, but I subsequently met her at an event in New York and everything. And I said, oh, you made my dress so famous. She goes, oh, I love that dress.
Is it that like where like if an Angelina wears it like on the cover of People, or like a Beyonce goes out and is photographed in it, is it truly like directed towards sales, where like you wake up and you're like, wait a second, this is going viral, people are ordering it, everybody wants this now?
It's really weird how that is, but sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. But Beyonce performed once in this funky dress we made with all buttons and beads on the front. It was a really cool little dress, and that sold like crazy. And the Angelina dress also sold like crazy. But it was such an obvious dress that I stopped making it, because I just didn't want to make 10,000 of them. We just did 2 cuttings and I said, that's it. And then we made some in another color and other prints, but the original dress, we didn't make that many of, because I just felt it would cheapen it. But very often it takes off, and then sometimes you get nothing, no buzz, and it could be the most incredible picture, and she's at the Oscars or she's at some great awards show, and nothing happens. But usually more happens if the dress has a pattern or something distinctive on it, rather than if it's just a solid. So if it's just a plain dress, you get less feedback.
Interesting. Is there a time, like what's an example of like a celebrity where like they wore it, or it was like it was for the Oscars, and like it's a business, like you have such high anticipations and you're like, no, no shade to the celebrity, or like this just fell short of our expectations, so to speak?
Well, I don't think we ever really have expectations particularly. I mean, it's all exposure, it's all good. And maybe they come to the website and they bought something else, but it's just good to have your name out there, or sometimes somebody remembers that from another time.
That's true. What about like how has the relationship between designer and celebrity changed throughout the years from when you first started?
Well, I remember when we used to charge them for clothes. I mean, way back in the beginning, well, it's going to be like whatever. But we never charge anybody for anything. I don't think anybody does. And a lot of companies pay the celebrities to wear the clothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, even a custom dress, we don't really charge anybody for things.
Do you have a lot of situations, like I would feel today, the definition of celebrity is way broader, with reality TV and like influencers and like, do you have a lot of stylists? Like, how do you handle like if you get a call and you're like, this isn't really an Angelina Jolie or a Beyonce, like where does that line get drawn?
Well, I leave that up to my staff, and they're very discerning. And if they don't think it's worth our while, or it's somebody they don't want to deal with, they don't deal with them. But I think we're very accommodating to, but of course, like on Instagram, you get so many direct messages, and all these people like, oh, I'm a model, I'm a model, I'm a model, can I be in your show? And obviously, the type of models people are using is really more varied than it used to be, and far more diverse and everything. But there's a lot of people that still aren't models, and just are trying to reach you on Instagram and everything.
Yeah. Do you like the business of fashion? Like, look, there's a lot of creatives, whatever it is, like music, actors, actresses. I've talked to a lot of fashion, people that are running a company that just don't like the business aspect of it. Do you like that
Well,
aspect?
I don't like dealing with department stores and returns and fit problems and damages and overruns and inventory. I don't like that part of the business at all. That's really not fun. So, there are, it's always easy to be the new kid on the block, and then you have a new business and you're not sitting with like inventory and everybody loves your first collections. And then, after a few years, you're not the new kid on the block, and there's like a lot of other new kids on the block. And so everybody's always reinventing themselves or trying to maintain their, their level of, status quo, whatever.
Do you have a favorite award show? Speaking of award shows that you have dressed for, styled for, been at, I know you've attended the Oscars yourself before. Like, do you have a favorite?
No, I really don't. I like to see the awards before, like the Golden Globes and the SAG Awards before the Oscars. I kind of enjoy those better. And, but I love watching the music awards these days, because what everybody's wearing is so insane. It's just crazy. I find them like super entertaining.
It's so that and like the MTV